Okay, this is going to be a quick overview on text as a multimedia element. You will not have an assignment on this, but it will be on the final exam. The chapter here in the supplemental book talked about fonts and understanding fonts, cascading style sheets, which we are not going to go over because that is covered in your web development course, and the text in a web page is also covered in your web development course, or should be. Okay, so all web content used to be text. Graphics and other media elements have been added in recent years, yet text remains your primary vehicle for communicating contents. The effective use of text is dependent upon the typography you use and the typefaces used. Typography is the typeface used in the way the type is arranged to communicate your ideas. Your typeface is a set of characters usually made up of alphabet letters, numerals, and symbols that follow the same rules within that set. Your fonts are sets of characters within a typeface that have specific characteristics associated with it. Fonts belong to a family such as Times New Roman, Arial, and that sort of thing, and contain variations on the font face. Text should be easy to read and visually pleasing on your page. When content is mostly text, typography takes on a greater importance. Users may not have the fonts that are specified in your HTML documents, so web page design, in thinking about your designs, you have to have alternative fonts. You should usually use fonts that are on most people's computers so that you don't have to worry about the computer trying to find a font so that your text can load. When fonts are used properly, it can have focus attention on certain text on the screen, enhance readability on the page, set your tone, whether it's serious, lighthearted, educational, that sort of thing. It should be able to set your tone and project an image, whether you're conservative or progressive. All of that comes through your text on the screen with the fonts that you use and the colors you use. Default fonts are the ones that come pre-installed with your operating systems. There are some of your most common default fonts. Of course, Arial's on there, Times New Roman, Verdana. Many font designers sell or offer royalty-free fonts on the web. If you use a font that is not on a user's computer, the user's operating system will substitute a font. And like I said, when you create web pages, you can specify a set of fonts so that if the first one's not available, it'll go to the second one and so forth. That should also be covered in a web development course, but I want you to know that that is available. It's better to use common fonts for standard web-based text. There's different things that you need to understand about fonts. So we're going to go over what these things here mean. Fonts are classified as serif, sans serif, or decorative. Serif fonts have feet or short lines at the end of the strokes of the letters. Sans means without, so a sans serif font is one without the serif or the extra little strokes at the end of your letters. A decorative font may have a combination of serif and sans serif fonts, or it may be one that cannot be categorized either way. Sans serif fonts most often used for headings, titles, and callouts, while serif fonts are used for your long or dense bodies of text. And here it shows your tails there on your serif. Okay, the Georgia or the Times New Roman are serif fonts, while Verdana and Arial are sans serif. Alright, monospace fonts, where each character takes up the exact same amount of horizontal space. And then proportional fonts, each character takes up a varying amount of horizontal space based on the size of the character. Font styles include italic, bold, and underline. Italicized fonts do not generally read well on a computer screen. An underlined word or phrase usually indicates a hyperlink, and unless the text is a hyperlink, avoid using underlining at all. Fonts often are measured in point sizes. Choosing the proper point size depends on how the font is to be used. That is, a title, body text, subheadings, or decorative. 10 and 12 points are common point sizes for type displayed on a web page for your body type content. Some of your titles may be larger. Kerning is used to specify the amount of space between your characters. Leading is the amount of space between lines of text. And then cascading style sheets, which, like I said, are something that you should learn in web development class, is used to control kerning and leading in an entire website. Style sheets can be used to set all of your properties for your various elements of your web page. And like I said, that is something for a web development class, not for this class. Color creates emphasis. Okay. It's applied to text. When it's applied to text, it attributes to the overall mood and tone of the page. You have 6-digit hex values that are used to reference colors on a web page. Typography is used to create patterns of organization on the page. Text can be left aligned, right aligned, center aligned, or justified. Long lines of text are hard to read. Columns are often more readable. It's recommended that designers allow for approximately 30 to 40 characters per line. Any more than that, and the user kind of gets bogged down with this huge set of text on a page. So here it shows 2 different ways of doing it, and the second one, of course, is much more readable because it's broken down there in the middle instead of going all the way across the page. And like I said, we are not going to talk about cascading style sheets. That is for web development. Okay. One way to ensure that text will be displayed in a specific format is to change the text into an image. It's helpful with logos, headings, and titles. Of course, if you've taken the other graphics courses, you know that you can create all these things in Photoshop or Illustrator. So here are graphics-based text. They've been turned into pictures, so to be used as logos. And then portable document format, PDF, is developed so documents can be transported and viewed without the requirements that the users viewing the documents own or have access to software with which the document was created. So as long as you have a PDF reader installed on the machine, they can see your text. Alright, that's just a quick overview as text as multimedia elements. They are important multimedia elements. So if you guys have questions about using text as a multimedia element, let me know. Like I said, there won't be an assignment on text, but there may be some questions, general questions about fonts and typography and that sort of thing on your final. So I wanted to kind of hit the high spots of text. It should have already been covered in other graphics classes, but I know that some of you may not have had those other classes yet. So if you have questions, let me know.